Let's move on to our third main topic today. And our third main topic today gets sent in to us by Greg Teller, who writes, "Greetings, everyone. I watched all of the first season of The Witcher this weekend and absolutely loved it. I wanted to know if you guys had a chance to watch it, and if so, what did you think about it? I thought Henry Cavill was awesome." All right, thanks for sending that in, man. And Rob, I did too.
You watched all of it?
I watched all of it. I thought I was going to try to get through a couple of episodes. But what happened was Saturday night, Ann was out of town with family. And so I found myself, like, I could go out hang with my buddy, but I think I'm going to chill out, hang out at home for the evening. I'm going to pop in an episode of The Witcher. I'm going to catch up on some of the football games that were on earlier. I'm just going to chill out and relax. Well, I was up till 2 a.m. watching Witcher. I got up to episode 7, and then the very next morning I got up early to watch the final episode of The Witcher. And I will tell you what, guys, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. By the way, what do you think about Ray improved the Witcher poster? Just so you can see, Ray improved the poster.
Dude, you should be I look at that picture, you should be every action star in every movie. I want to see Ray should do a pantheon of posters of just you as every Mad Max, Maximus, and Gladiator, Braveheart, William Wallace, Ramius from Hunt for Red October. I want to see the John Campea as every action star
Ray's
ever.
got a talent. Ray's got a talent.
That is such a cool image.
He did a great job. Now, I'm not going to give any spoilers away about Witcher, but
he painted that.
I will say this. As the show progressed, and for those of you who watched the show, you'll know what I'm talking about. Again, give no spoilers away. As the show opened and progressed, I thought, this is really interesting. This is really cool. I like this story. I love Henry Cavill as Geralt. I thought he did wonderful, all this kind of stuff. But then, as you get into the deeper episodes, they start to reveal some things that you're like, wait a minute, what? That totally, again, I'm not going to spoil anything, fundamentally changed the way you see all the things that came before it. And then the next episode, they do it again. And it's like, I'll tell you, Rob, this is not a perfect show. This is what I wrote on Twitter. On Twitter, let me bring up specifically what I wrote just to make sure I get it right here. Okay, this is what I wrote. I want to bring this up. I wrote this on Twitter. I said, just finished The Witcher Season 1, and it is by no means a perfect show, but the intricacies of its narrative and the pacing of what they reveal to the audience is some really high-level storytelling, and I am absolutely fascinated by this show. So I put that up on Twitter the other day, and it's absolutely true. I am fascinated by this show. And the way, and like I said in it, I was floored by high-level storytelling. This would have been something very difficult to really map out properly for how it plays on screen. And they did it in such a way that I thought it was great, and I thought it was wonderful, and I ate it up. And my one complaint, Rob, is that it ended. That's my one complaint.
That's how I felt about The Expanse Season 4.
I'm by the way, I've started watching. I'm one episode into The Expanse Season 4, but the season ends, and no secret, I'm not a big fan of 8-episode seasons. I don't think that's enough. I really don't. I do not think 8-episode seasons. You got to go 10, 12 minimum, I think. But whatever. So it ends on this moment that I'm like, no, there has to be one more secret episode somewhere that I can watch. Again, look, I'm not surprised Henry Cavill was great in it because he's Henry Cavill, and I think he's fantastic. But he was marvelous. I'll tell you what, though, the rest of the cast was great. I was particularly fond of, I can't remember the actress's name, but the girl who plays Yennefer in it. I was as taken. There are some people complaining a little bit that maybe they spent too much time in the show on the Yennefer character. But to me, I was as invested in the Yennefer character storyline as I was in Geralt's storyline. I was absolutely loving it, and then their stories would intertwine, and then their stories would separate, and then the stories would intertwine, and I was lapping it up. I was absolutely lapping it up. I didn't know what to expect from this show, Rob. You know, the first trailer came out, and I was like, it feels small. Then the second trailer came out, and I'm like, okay, this looks good. And that's all I was hoping for Witcher season 1. Just good. Just give me something good. I loved it. I'm not going to say that I love it on the same level as The Boys, or I love it on the same level as the Umbrella Academy. I'm not necessarily going to say that, but I liked it a lot more than I even thought I was going to. And a lot of that credit goes to obviously the showrunners and everything, but Henry Cavill carries this show on his incredibly broad shoulders and incredibly chiseled jaw. He just does a great, great job, and I just adored it. Now, I don't know that you've even had a chance to start watching it yet.
I did.
You did start watching. What episode are you up to?
I just watched the first episode.
All right, so where are you at right now on it? So
well,
what are you thinking about
First of all, it's beautifully made. You know, the production values are great. Cavill's a really compelling presence. To be honest, the first episode, you know, I played Witcher 3, the video game.
Right.
But I'm not, which I thought it's a great game. But I don't know much about the lore. I certainly haven't read the books. And I thought the show started out a little slow, but I was intrigued. I'm like, I will watch it.
Wait till you get into the later episodes,
Yeah, I mean,
and you just remember everything that happens in the first episode, because I'm going to tell you what, it gets expanded upon.
Right. But I was like, this is really intriguing. What I think is most interesting about what we've received, and The Witcher being the capper to a great year of television in a fantasy context. Dark Crystal, you know, Age of Resistance, Carnival Row, his Dark Materials, now Witcher. You're seeing, John. We always talk about we live in this amazing age. When I'm watching Witcher, I'm like, okay. People were talking about, well, we need a replacement for Game of Thrones, and before the Lord of the Rings show starts. But the fact that we're getting, I mean, would you call this? I know it's based on novels, but as far as a video game too, I mean, the adaptation here, it's pretty stellar. And once again, Carnival Row wasn't perfect, and his Dark Materials was, you know, up and down. And this, you love it. Well, I'll see what I think about it. But I'm amazed of the quality of fantasy television that we're getting. It blows me away. And the promise of things to come. And if you love this show, I wish it was more than 8 episodes. Now I'm bummed out because I'm tired of running out of these shows that I love. But it's amazing that we're getting this. I mean, it's incredible that these shows are getting made. I'm happy to support them because the vision is big. I mean, obviously Game of Thrones was in the back of their minds the whole time they were making this. They're like, we've got to have this kind of production value. Everybody knows what they're going to watch. They're like, this is what we expect. It's not like the days of Hercules and Xena anymore. Right. We have passed a Rubicon. And from that perspective, I'm like, I'm locked in. I mean, I got to finish The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel and Witcher. Maybe I'll watch one episode after the other and skip through the shows.
Yeah, I got to get back on Expanse because I watched episode 1, so I got to get into the rest of that. So, question here is, guys, listen, I highly recommend, if you've not started watching Witcher, I highly recommend, and just hold on tight as you get into the later episodes, because it's again, the phrase I keep coming back to in my head, Rob, about this show, especially as you get into later episodes, is high-level storytelling. Like really high-level, sophisticated storytelling brought into a genre like this, which I think is great. If you guys have watched the show, what did you think about it? Jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right.